We all know the Thanksgiving story, the one taught in schools and cherished in holiday traditions. Pilgrims and Native Americans sharing a meal in 1621, celebrating peace, gratitude, and cooperation. But how much of this story is true? And what's the darker reality behind the myth? Today we're diving into the real history of Thanksgiving, the myths, the truths, and the tragic consequences of colonization that are often overlooked. The popular narrative tells us that in 1621, the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag people came together for a peaceful feast to celebrate the harvest. This story emphasizes harmony and gratitude, a beautiful tale of friendship. It's a comforting story, but it's also far from the whole truth. The Wampanoag, led by Chief Massasoit, didn't help the Pilgrims purely out of kindness. By 1621, the Wampanoag had been devastated by European diseases, with entire villages wiped out. Massasoit saw the struggling Pilgrims as potential allies against rival tribes, while the Pilgrims desperately needed help to survive their first winter. The shared feast was real, a 3-day celebration of the harvest and a rare moment of peace. But this alliance was based on necessity, not friendship. What happened after the feast? The peace didn't last. As more European settlers arrived, they brought land grabs, violence, and even more diseases. Relations between settlers and Native Americans deteriorated rapidly. Just 16 years after the 1621 feast, the settlers massacred hundreds of Pequot men, women, and children during the Pequot War. Shockingly, some colonists even declared days of Thanksgiving to celebrate these violent victories. These early Thanksgivings were not about harmony. They were about conquest. Over time, Native populations faced forced displacement, brutal massacres, and cultural erasure. Events like King Philip's War in the 1670s marked the near destruction of tribes like the Wampanoag, leaving a legacy of loss and mourning. For many Native Americans, Thanksgiving isn't a celebration. It's a painful reminder of colonization and its devastating impacts. Since 1970, the United American Indians of New England have observed Thanksgiving as a national day of mourning. So, does this mean you shouldn't celebrate Thanksgiving? Not necessarily. But it's important to acknowledge the full history, not just the comforting myths. Understanding the truth allows us to honor the resilience of Native peoples and reflect on how we can do better as a society. This Thanksgiving, as you gather around the table, take a moment to remember the real history. Gratitude is important, but so is truth. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.